What if I told you the difference between breaking 90% of your clays and missing the easiest target of the day has almost nothing to do with your shotgun? Not your choke, not your shells, not even your aim. According to one of the world's greatest clay shooters, there's one tiny habit that separates consistent shooters from everyone else. And once you see it, you'll never look at a target the same way again. Stay until the end, because the final mistake is the one experienced shooters make the most. Most shooters believe they miss because of bad aim, so they buy a new shotgun, try different chokes, spend hundreds on ammunition. Then they go back to the range and miss the exact same target. Sound familiar? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most misses happen before you ever pull the trigger. John Bidwell has spent decades proving this. He's coached countless shooters, won major championships, and watched thousands of people repeat the exact same mistake. Not because they're untalented, because they're focused on the wrong thing. Today, we're breaking down the secret hidden inside Bidwell's shooting philosophy. A secret that 95% of shooters completely overlook. And every section builds toward one powerful lesson. Because this isn't just another shooting tip, it's a completely different way of thinking. Most shooters spend years chasing the wrong fix. New guns, new gear, new coaches. All while the real answer was sitting quietly in their own habits the entire time. So pay close attention, because once you understand this, you can't unsee it. Part 1. The biggest lie shooters believe. Let's start with the myth. The average shooter believes accuracy comes from aiming carefully. Makes sense. That's how rifles work. That's how pistols work. So, naturally, people try to do the same with a shotgun. Big mistake. A shotgun isn't designed to be aimed like a rifle. It's designed to move fluidly, naturally, without hesitation. John Bidwell often emphasizes that successful clay shooting depends on connecting with the target's movement, not trying to pin the barrel onto it. The moment you start checking the barrel, your eyes leave the target, and the target wins. Imagine trying to catch a baseball. Would you stare at your glove? Of course not. Your eyes stay locked on the ball. Your hands react automatically. Clay shooting works the same way. Your body already knows how to coordinate movement. The problem is your brain keeps getting in the way. That's why experienced shooters often look effortless. They're not forcing the shot. They're allowing it to happen. Think about a concert pianist. They don't consciously plan every finger movement. Years of practice built that skill into instinct. Clay shooting works the same way. The goal isn't to think harder. The goal is to train your instincts until they take over. Once they do, the barrel stops feeling like a separate object. It becomes an extension of your eyes. And that's only the beginning. Because there's another mistake that's even more destructive, and almost nobody realizes they're doing it. Part 2. Your eyes decide everything. Here's something surprising. Your shotgun follows your eyes, not the other way around. When beginners miss, their vision constantly shifts. This tiny eye movement destroys timing. John Bidwell teaches shooters to trust visual focus. Your eyes should burn into the front edge of the clay. See every detail, its color, its rotation, its speed, its line. The sharper your visual connection, the more naturally your hands respond. Think about driving a car. You don't stare at the hood, you look where you're going. Shotguns work exactly the same way. Yet most shooters never trust this process. They panic, they check the barrel. Everything slows down, everything falls apart. Try this the next time you practice. Instead of watching the whole target, pick one tiny point on its leading edge. Lock onto that single spot. Nothing else. You'll notice something strange. The target seems to slow down. That's not an illusion. That's what happens when your focus stops splitting between two places at once. But even perfect vision isn't enough, because there's another invisible habit ruining your timing. Part 3. Stop chasing the target. Here's one of Bidwell's most valuable lessons: never chase. If you're chasing, you're already late. Watch struggling shooters. The target launches. They hesitate. Then speed up. Then try catching it. By then, the opportunity is gone. Great shooters match the target's speed almost immediately. They don't rush. They don't jerk. They simply connect. Picture two trains traveling together. Neither looks fast relative to the other. That's exactly what you want. The barrel shouldn't be racing toward the target. It should move with it, smoothly, comfortably. That's why rhythm matters more than speed. Fast hands don't break clays, smooth hands do. This is why timing drills matter so much. Not speed drills, timing drills. Shooters who practice matching a target's rhythm before ever pulling the trigger develop something most people never build: a natural internal clock. And once that clock is set, the barrel doesn't have to think. It just follows. But there's one final mental mistake that quietly ruins everything. And it's responsible for more missed birds than almost anything else. Part 4. Trust the shot. This is where many experienced shooters lose confidence. Everything feels perfect. The target appears, the gun moves, then one tiny thought appears. Am I far enough ahead? That question changes everything. Your hands slow, your eyes flick to the barrel, the swing stalls. You pull the trigger anyway. Miss. John Bidwell repeatedly emphasizes commitment. Once you've connected, finish the movement, trust it. Second-guessing almost always happens too late to fix anything. Elite shooters don't shoot because everything feels perfect. They commit because they've trained correctly. Confidence isn't magic, it's repetition. Every practice session builds trust, not certainty. Trust. That's why elite shooters don't fear a miss. A miss simply means one variable was slightly off. Not that the entire process failed. They adjust, they reset, they move on immediately. No frustration, no overthinking, just the next target. That mental discipline is trained exactly the same way your swing is. And once trust replaces doubt, consistency follows. But before we finish, there's one lesson that ties everything together. And it's probably the most important. Part 5. The secret isn't technique. It's simplicity. People love complicated answers, new gadgets, new drills, new equipment. But John Bidwell's philosophy points somewhere much simpler. Keep your eyes on the target. Move naturally. Match its speed. Trust your swing. Commit to the shot. That's it. Simple doesn't mean easy. Simple requires discipline, because every miss tempts you to overthink, to analyze, to change everything. But improvement doesn't come from adding more. It comes from removing what's unnecessary. The world's best shooters aren't performing more actions. They're performing fewer, better, cleaner, more consistently. Think about how many shooters chase the newest release, the newest choke tube, the newest miracle drill. None of it addresses the real issue. The real issue lives in the mind, in the eyes, in the rhythm. Fix those, and everything else becomes secondary. That's the secret, not a hidden trick, a hidden mindset. So the next time you're standing on the shooting stand, remember this. Don't chase. Don't check the barrel. Don't overthink. Watch the target. Move naturally. Trust your eyes. Trust your swing. And let the shot happen. Because the shooters who break the most clays aren't always the strongest or the fastest. They're simply the ones who interfere the least. And if you want proof this works, watch any elite shooter in slow motion. You'll notice the swing looks unhurried, almost lazy. That's not a lack of effort. That's what mastery actually looks like. Effortless, quiet, completely dialed in. Now, here's your challenge. The next time you visit the range, Pick just one idea from today's video. Focus on that alone, then come back and tell us what changed. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next video reveals another overlooked lesson from the world's greatest clay shooters, and it might completely change the way you shoot your next round. We'll see you there.